What is optical fiber? Where do you see it? Do we see it in our daily lives? Can we recollect some things where we see optical fiber? I have a few things to show to you. Let us see. You might have seen something like this, in which if I put light, then you can see it glowing everywhere. I have used a multicolor LED to illuminate it, and you can see that different pieces of fibers are glowing and the colors are changing. This is a kind of fiber which people use for decorative purposes. I also see a fiber something like this, okay, in which if I put light inside, I can see light coming out of the other end. This looks like a normal wire, but it guides light. You can see what a flexible structure it is, and it can take light around all the curves over a long distance, over the entire length of this piece of wire. So this is another form of optical fiber. We also see fibers something like this. This is really hair thin. This is really hair thin structure, and I can very carefully couple light into it, and light can come out of the other end. It can guide light over kilometers length. We also see something like this. This is a fiber which is jacketed. It is a similar fiber which I showed you earlier. It is jacketed. You can notice the color. Its color is yellow. The color of the jacket is yellow, and it signifies it is single mode fiber. Well, what is a single mode fiber? We will learn as we go along. This is another similar kind of fiber, but it has an orange color jacket. It is known as multimode fiber. Again, this term multimode we will understand as we will go along. You may have also seen something like this. This is a very flexible cable, but it takes light along it. So if I put light into one end, you can see light coming out. So if I take light from here, it can be illuminated. So I have different types of fibers. You also think, where do you see fiber? What comes to your mind when you hear this term fiber optics or optical fiber? Let us look at where do we see fiber in our lives, and how does the fiber look like. Let us first have how the fiber looks like. What exactly is optical fiber? So it is having a very thin core in the center, which is made of certain material. Here I have shown it is made up of doped glass, and it is surrounded by another material which is called cladding. This material can be for example pure glass, and this region is called cladding, and this forms a flexible structure which can carry light over very long distance, and the material can be glass or plastic. This is typical glass fiber illuminated by green laser light, and this is typical plastic fiber bundle which is illuminated by white light. Where do we see fibers in our daily lives? Well, the very first use of optical fiber was in endoscopy. The bundle that I showed you here, this is a kind of bundle of fiber which is used in endoscopy. What does it do? Well, you can slip in this kind of fiber inside the human body and image it inside. You can see the ailments which are happening inside, and if you put a laser beam through it, you can even do surgery. This is minimum invasive surgery. What you have to do, only puncture some small holes in the human body, slip in the fiber, put the laser light, image it, do the surgery and treat the ailments. This kind of surgery is known as laparoscopy. Where else do we see fibers? Fiber can be seen in flyovers, installed in flyovers to sense any strain or stress developing in the structure. So you can use fiber sensors to monitor the health of civil engineering structures. You can do 24/7 real time monitoring. Any defect can be detected at the initial stage itself and the precautionary measures can be taken. So it can be used to monitor the health of the flyovers, railway bridges and building, and you can do real time monitoring of the health of these structures. This is one example of Taiwan's first ever all round full bridge fiber optic monitoring system. It is capable of performing 24-hour all round bridge monitoring. If there is any abnormality detected, then the bridge management unit is immediately notified by means of computer or smartphone, and precautionary measures are taken. This system can also be combined with traffic signals to immediately prohibit use of vehicles or pedestrians. Another application that I see is in illuminating the places like museums, caves, or where you have very precious artworks. Why do we need this? Well, in these kind of places, we have artworks which are very sensitive to thermal radiation, and if we illuminate them using ordinary lamp, then these lamps do not only give light but also heat the artworks. So these kind of lamps degrade the quality of artworks. So to prohibit that, to address this issue, what can be done? You can put the lamp outside. For example, in this Ajanta caves, you put the lamp outside, take the light using optical fiber bundle through this, the fiber is running along this, and then take this fiber bundle inside the cave and illuminate it. You can see the blazing light coming out of fiber bundles and the whole structure is illuminated. In this way, you can only transport light through optical fibers but not the heat. So your artworks are protected. We can also use optical fibers for improving our ambience. For example, you can make a ceiling of hotel lobby like this, or you can make the ceiling of your car like this. You can also use optical fiber for your personal use, like you can make a fabric using optical fiber. You can basically weave in the optical fiber which is side emitting and then illuminate it using different colors. So you have color changing fabric. You can dine on light if you use this kind of fabric. But of course, the very important use and the most important use of optical fiber is in telecommunication. We use our mobile phones which communicate to this local cell tower. You might have seen these kind of cell towers in your localities. Now if I want to send a message to a mobile which is in New York, how does this data go? Well, this local cell tower is connected to another tower which is connected to optical fiber and carrier core network, but the connection between these two towers is using microwave link. The connection between your mobile phone and this tower is also through microwave link. This microwave link has a limited data transmission capacity, which is about 100 megabits per second. So, you send data from this tower to this tower at 100 Mbps over a few kilometers, and then fiber takes over. This data goes into optical fiber to, for example, Delhi. This fiber is buried under the ground, and then from Delhi to Mumbai, and then from Mumbai to New York using optical fiber. You will say how? You will say how from Mumbai to New York using optical fiber? Well, there are submarine fiber optic cables. Cables are buried on seabed, something like this. This is a submarine cable map. It shows that millions of kilometers of optical fiber is buried on seabed, is lying on seabed, connecting the whole world. Okay. Here you are in India, and then you can go to Europe and to the US. Okay. So, it is this fiber which takes your data from Mumbai to New York. This very term fiber optics was coined by Narendra Singh Kapani. He was born in Moga, Punjab and educated in England, and his was the first PhD thesis on fiber optics in the year 1955. The fiber was very lossy. He used a bundle of optical fibers which could transmit image over a meter. The laser was born. In May 1960, Theodore Maiman demonstrated the first laser. It was a ruby laser. He demonstrated it in Malibu, and few months later L.I. Jawan demonstrated first helium neon laser at Bell Labs. Because they were very directional, so they thought that they can use these lasers by open air or open atmosphere communication. But of course, there were limitations, because if you are using a laser through open atmosphere, you are doing communication. For example, you are transmitting some music signal, you are listening to music, and suddenly a bird crosses the laser beam and your music stops. Suddenly fog settles in and your beam is attenuated. If there is thunderstorm, there are dust particles, they scatter light, beam is attenuated. So, in the years 62 to 63, experiments showed high loss when sending laser beams through open atmosphere, and fibers already showed too high loss to be used for telecommunication. So, during this time in early 60s, people had lost interest in using optical fiber for telecommunication. Let me tell you, the loss of optical fiber was 1000 dB per kilometer. It means that if you send light through 20 meters of optical fiber, then only 1% light remains. Charles Kao and George Hockham made a daring conclusion in a historic paper: a fiber with 20 dB per kilometer loss can realize the dream of optical communication. In 1970, Corning Glassworks produced a fiber with 16 dB per kilometer loss at 633 nanometer wavelength, and within a decade the fiber loss could be brought down to about 1 dB per kilometer. Today we have fibers with loss less than 0.2 dB per kilometer. Professor Kao is widely regarded as father of optical fiber communication and has been awarded 2009 Nobel Prize in Physics. This is a typical block diagram of optical fiber telecommunication system where we have electric signal. So, whatever data we want to send, it is converted into electric signal, whether it is voice data or image or a video. So, we have electric pulses. These electric pulses drive light source and produce optical pulses. These optical pulses are sent through transmission medium and they are received at the output end by optical detector, where they are converted into electric signal again. So, we have three primary components here: light source, transmission medium and optical detector. The transmission medium is optical fiber. What are the light sources which are used in telecommunication? Light emitting diode and laser diodes. How the optical pulses are detected? Photodiode, PIN detector and avalanche photodiode APD.